a lot of people were in shock that when I said that this pain I'm feeling that was more on the mental side was way worse than the chest issue I had in 2019, which was definitely a scary moment that I'll never ever ever forget. They thought this was a hot take. Neil completely disagreed when I talked to him last night, and he was confused, along with so many that were confused or just in total disagreement that what I said, and in my other video, they thought this was a hot take. That I thought this was way worse than the other one. Even Mari was in total disagreement. She even said that like I just made this situation like, you know, the pain that I'm feeling like, you're just making it out to be very tough because, you know, you because I I'm afraid of making and taking the risks of just trying to do what I needed to do, right? And because I am an adult, I know she like I know her story of how she moved out and all that, like from Northern Cali when she used to live in California, right? And I know she's moved, to a couple other cities after Texas, and you know, but for the most part, she is satisfied with her just being on her own, or with her roommate, in this case. So, like, I mean, I know she said a lot. She thought that I was just making this hard on myself, and that the mental pain that she said it, quote unquote mental pain that I'm feeling, is it's just something that I made, that I'm just you know making hard on myself, like, or just creating an issue of as to why I'm the one that give myself anxiety. She said the one in 2019, the chest issue I had, was the anxiety that I felt. It was more understandable because I feared, obviously, what might happen with me and my health, as with this mysterious chest issue I had, that I was trying to understand how I got it and all that, until I found out later on. I went to the doctor. I went to go to an X-ray. You know, per the doctor's request. Went to acupuncture twice, which pretty much slowly but surely solved, the chest problem. Right, had heart palpitations. You know, um, I got that like right on the day of my dad's birthday, which was back in 2019 around this time, or beginning of this month. So I know a lot of people, even Neil and her, um, would tend to think that that's way worse than this one. I want to actually double down to even say that this feeling that I'm having is still way worse than that. Okay, now the one common thing with these two is that I have battled anxiety. Now, the anxiety that I've felt this year, it lasted longer than the anxiety that I had when I had my chest issue, believe it or not. Now, obviously in 2019, that was more of a physical issue because it is a health concern, and it was major. And yes, I'll give you the level of that pain, like, and especially my reaction to it. It was like it was very scary. I was scared to death. I was worried for my life. There was times when I didn't know if I can sleep well at night based on what I felt. There was like this weird pattern where I felt something like I didn't know if I had shortness of breath or what. I was in panic mode because I'm trying to figure out how to breathe, and it was like something that was just forcing me to kind of to like how even take a full breath or something like that. It was just that bad, dude. And I've been told by Carmen, that it must have been because of the inner swelling, the swelling of the inner chest muscles. And I believed her when she said that. So then that's when when I took the X-ray, nothing showed up. Now, I could have gotten an MRI, but I didn't risk it. I was afraid. So I just continued to do what I do with the acupuncture and all that. And obviously, I forgot what else I did, to lessen this pain. Now, of course, I was limited on my exercise in general. Couldn't do very much. I had to do more relaxing. At that time, I was using my Fitbit. I still was able to get 10,000 plus steps. Had I been healthy at the time, I probably would have averaged way more than 10,000 plus, right? But yeah, that's I totally understand from like that a lot of people would think that this was way worse than than what I'm feeling this time around. But I'm still gonna double down as to why this is way worse. And look, this has been an uphill battle for me in that although it's more on the mental side, and although I've been able to go out a few times this year, to the point now that like even that's becoming very much limited, due to the fact that now I got to be dealing with more when I'm at home, right? And unless I get these short big breaks, I'm pretty much limited on my outdoor freedom, especially when it comes to hanging out, or just mainly when it comes to hanging out. So, you know, it's gotten to that point where it feels like, I'm not gonna be able to do much, but I'm still doing my basketball shoot around games during my lunch breaks. I'll be doing whatever I want during my lunch break. If I want to walk around, get some fresh air, you know. Hell, I can even eat lunch in my home park if I wanted to, just like I did in 2019 when I couldn't really do too much with my, with my exercise, or with my health at the time that I had the chest issue, right? So, you know, this one here is just more of like the reason why I say this is way worse, is because of this all-time low energy that I've been experiencing for a long time. And, the constant unhappiness, misery, and obviously the craziness that I've been feeling as a result of my ongoing misery and unhappiness that caused a lot of my ex-close friend losses, and especially the group text incidents and the nutballers that led some of the guys, even Ravi, to be very, very upset and perceive me differently now. You know what I'm saying? Almost got to a point, hell, that Dewey almost lost me as a friend. And look, this is exactly what I mean. This is actually lasting longer. And the misery and unhappiness that I've been feeling, it's just unreal in terms of the time span. So, people can say that the chest issue that I had, it was way worse than this. I get it from the standpoint of, how the level of pain that I had to deal with and all that. I'm looking at this as more of a problem solving standpoint on how to solve the pain. I look at it more as a problem solving standpoint, from a problem solving standpoint. The problem solving for my chest issue, although it was super scary, it was done in a month. To that my chest issues started to slowly get better, in the next few months till the end of the year, and then everything was all good after that. So, and this one it's different because the problem solving I would have to do is obviously, I've been saying it over and over again, especially in the video I said earlier, that I need my permanent space and a new job. Or, if it has to be one of the two, a new job, obviously. Because I can't continue to feel what I feel every time I'm in that dump, and knowing that even some of the guys like Paula and Ted, and even some of my other friends who are shocked at how much I'm being paid, and especially in that it's already going to be my 13th year in September, it's not even close to $18. You know what I'm saying? It should have at least been that, But that's part of the reason why I can never be myself mentally. And a lot of times I'm just finding myself in moments, especially toward the end of each day, that like I'm in beast mode. I just feel bad for the guys that have been seeing me just like pretty much possessing some exorcism in my own body based on what I've said. And obviously with the two group text incidents that I've caused, you know? So from a problem solving standpoint, this is way worse because it takes smaller steps, to for me to to be able to get what I want. And I want to tell you right now, financially, it's going to be an involvement there. With my chest issue, there was no need for any financial involvement. Here, it does. And basically, this is, I mean, I know like a lot of people I know have already done it to where they got this far, as far to better their mental health, their mental sake, just needing the peace of their own, just wanting to live on their own and all that. It's already a big time challenge. And if I do it, yes, I would have accomplished something big, even if it was a new job. But I think that, I think that at the same time, it's going to be, it's going to be a big step forward in my life, and that, I've already, moved on to focus more on myself, and obviously just being a better version of myself, and that now I've already gained my permanent happiness, joy, and peace. But obviously, that has to be done with a new job, because there's no way that my 1775 is gonna cut it with knowing that how many all the bills I have to pay and all that, water, gas, you name them, car, electricity, just all the main ones. So it does need to start with a new job. Yes, I've already asked a couple of people, as far as like, what they think. And even if it's, they just said, hey, they're looking at it as look, you're an adult, you just gotta let your family know, hey, if it's time, it's time. Like, they're giving me different pinpoints as to how I can communicate with how I would gain my permanent space, just it's just different ways. And it's I'm still gonna at the end of the day, man, this is a huge risk, okay? And of course, in order for me to do that, I need a better job, because I've been saying it a lot, and even in my old videos, that there's just no way that my life is going to get better once I'm still in this dump, okay? I can take so many walks, I can get fresh air, as much as I can, but at the end of the day, it still comes down to just needing to get the hell out of there. I'm not going to take any more 1 week, 2 week vacations, just to only find myself going back and just being back to that kind of BS reality that's only going to irritate me a lot more. So I need to do myself a big favor and get the hell out of there, point blank period. I've said it time and time again. It's the only way that I'm going to better my mental health, and that as I continue with my therapy, my sessions will get better for me, and I'll now be able to engage in a much better understanding of it, as I go, once I'm in a new job. So until I'm out of there, it's hard for me to feel like I've moved up, there's no way I can ever feel like I'm moved up. There's no way I can ever feel like I'm happy, just enjoying life. Yeah, flashes of it is when I'm getting fresh air and taking walks and going out and all that. But even now, I'm so limited on that because the other dilemma that I'm dealing with, in that, I gotta deal with the limitations that I have, unless I get these big breaks. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's I'm at the point now, like, dude, yeah, this is why I said this is worse than this is way worse that I'm feeling than the chest one. You know, the one thing, yeah, it is unforgettable. Well, what I had to deal with my chest issue, right? But now this is even bigger in terms of, you know in terms of, like, how to solve it. And it's been an uphill battle that just has not stopped. It's getting much harder, and whatever I'm feeling, it's like it's just been an ongoing battle. So it's gonna take small steps, small victories. And yes, I'm still taking therapy, I'm still taking my medication, but goddamn, dude, it's a long process for me. And anytime anything is mentally related, that can take just longer to solve, you know, any such mental health issues, than it is when it comes to physical. And in my case, you know, I have to continue doing what I'm doing. It's sometimes I just gotta take risks to find gaps of time where, while I'm dealing with this reality, until I get another big break, a short big break, then I gotta find gaps. Finding the gaps to help myself through, and that's that. So, anyways, man, I'm gonna leave it at that. But I said what I said. I'm doubling down. Some people can still feel a certain way, and as to saying that my chest issue is way worse than this one. For me, it's still it's this one from a problem solving standpoint. And the fact that this misery and unhappiness that I'm feeling, that is so unreal. It's like nothing that I've ever experienced before. I can feel that I'm stuck with this life that I have. I can feel it so much so, like, at the beginning of July, man, before I had the 2.5 week big break, I can just feel it. If that 2.5 week big break did not happen, boy, I'll be in for a long month. And trust me, so, like, it's gonna be a drag. It's a drag fest enough that, like, mentally, for me to just, to just have to feel stuck with this life, and knowing that because it is a year 2025, that I'm still stuck in this same environment that I'm having to deal with, stuck in this life to the point that I'm immensely in pain, with my all-time low energy and constant unhappiness and and misery. Just imagine that. Yes, I know it's already August, going, not that far from the birth season, which is starting September right after this. But still, dude, I can already feel like my birth season is not going to be any better, for as long as I'm still in that dump. So it's I just need to find gaps out there, to make things work for me. And how do I make them work? Well, it's small steps at a time for this. With my chest issue, it's just just some certain medicines and certain other treatments, to rid that. You know what I'm saying? So, although I am healthy now, my breathing is good and all that, you know, I'm still mentally sick, dude. I'm still mentally sick with everything that I'm going through and these two dilemmas. So I'm still gonna collect some more info, from other people, whether it's in my work or other friends, and I'm gonna go from there. So I'm gonna leave it at that. You guys let me know what you think. Peace.